Hello and welcome to the video. I'm Jimmy the Mower and today we're going to be testing out this Ferrex wood engraving set available from Aldi. Right then, first of all, this wood engraving set, a real bargain at £9.99. However, it's already not what I thought it was. Right, what I thought it was something like their multi-tool, like with an oscillating head, so I could stick the nib on and I could just draw around and it would vibrate backwards and forwards, and I could just do, you know, little design or something like that on there, etch something on. It's not like that at all. What it is basically, I think they're called a pyrograph, aren't they? And it's like where you burn bits into a piece of wood. So you've got to just get your piece of wood and burn something in. And I thought, all right, but that's, you know, for £10, I'm not going to moan. I'll have a go with it. Right, I've got it out. I put it in, I've got it out, got my extension lead out so I can plug it in because it is a mains one. And I thought to myself, I'll have a quick flick through the instructions. And the first thing I read was, you need to plug this in and wait for 10 minutes for it to warm up. So what I'm going to do is plug it in there. I'll turn it on now. You probably heard that click. And I'm going to put it down on there, read the book, have myself a cup of tea, and I'll get back to you in about 10 minutes. Okay then, while this is warming up, I've just got the pliers and tightened this nib up. Now, this is the nib that was in there when it was done, when it arrived, sorry, so that's what I've used. There's a little stand that comes in the tray, so I'm going to lift that up and I'm going to put that on there, okay? And that just holds that in place. Now, be careful because this is plugged in and it's on. You can smell that it's getting warm, but there is no light on there at all. There's nothing on there to say that it's on or working. So you must be very careful not to accidentally pick it up or leave it switched on, because there's no indication otherwise. Now, you also get a little metal stencil with it, which is great for me because if you've seen my writing with pen and ink, with pen and paper, it's terrible anyway. So let alone trying to draw something on wood. So this will be a real bonus for me. So if we can get it to work properly, that would be great on there. Now, it's still warming up. I don't know when it gets the temperature because I can feel some heat there, but there's no light on there. But right, it just says on here, there's a little bit about the accessories that come in the tray. Okay, so we've got these ones here. Now, these are just the burning nibs, I presume, the stuff that you use to write with, etc. There you have a little plastic cover that fits over the top to stop them falling out, which is handy. There's like some real pointy ones in there, some rounded ones, some fatter ones, some thinner ones, even one, if I can get it out, not really made for folks with hands my size, are they, these dainty little things. There's even one of those, look, I'm not 100% sure what that does or how it does it, but there's one of those in there as well. So you can see there's loads and loads of different bits. Right, now something that is very interesting to me is the fact that if I can get this one out from here, I might use another one to lever it out a little bit. That there is a soldering iron tip, right? So you know, soldering iron is something that we do, not really in the workshop I'm in the other one. I haven't actually got any solder here, or else I would have tested that out. It is only 30 watts, so I'm not sure how hot it gets, how much heat transfer there is from there to there. But a soldering iron tip, that's handy. So, you know, for £9.99, £10, you've got yourself a little like burner pyrography, I think it is, and a soldering iron as well, or a standby soldering iron, so that's always handy. And then at this end there is also a tiny little blade. Now that little blade's in there, you might not be able to see it very well, but the little blade's in there, and with that blade there's a separate fitting. There's what they call a collet, and this is why I thought it'd be more like the sort of Dremel tool that you use where there's a bit of like oscillating action in there, because you've got a collet there. So you put the collet in and you tighten that up, and these are the same fittings that are used on those multi-tools, so that's why I thought it might be something to do with that. And then last but not least, we've got these tiny little ones here, which are like branding tools. There's various different shapes. They're all the same size, they're all the same thread, so they just fit in there, but they're various different brands. The only thing I can think of is there's no red light to say when it's hot or not, so we've got that nib in first. Now I can tell, look, it's gone from the brass cut. I won't touch it because I can feel the heat from it. It's gone from the brass colour that was there, the nib was brass coloured as well, and it's gone almost like a steel colour. So it is hot, it is hot. But what I was thinking is, if I've got to change that at any point, I've got to unplug this, let that cool down, even though I've got some insulated pliers. You don't want to hurt yourself, or drop it back in this little holder because it'll just melt through, I should think, if it gets hot enough. But you'd have to wait for it to cool down before you change tool and carried on. But anyway, it looks like it's warm. I'm going to give it a go. The stand's hot. I'll tell you that for nothing. The stand's hot. I didn't think that would be warm. I put that there, as it said in the instructions book, like that. And I thought that was a little heat shield to stop it going in. It must be just a clip to stop it falling out, because when I picked that up, that was hot. Now, as you've got a piece of wood here, is I don't know what it was, what size it was, 4x2, something like that. Various lines on there. This is from my woodworking. There's my old dad used to say, Jim, you got to measure twice and cut once, whereas in my case it's measure about 3 times and cut about 7 times. Just keep cutting it until it fits. So there you go, that's all my markings on there. Now let's see how this works then. I'm not the most dexterous person when it comes to this sort of thing, or crafty person, but it's of interest to me. You know, if you could make markings on wood, if you can fill things in, if you can sort of burn them, stain, you know, darken the colour and stuff, there's some nice things you can make, I'm sure. So we'll try this one first. I'm not after any prizes. I just want to see if it works. Right, I can see. Oh yeah, you got to go real slow. I don't even see a bit of smoke coming off. Right, there's my attempt. I've gone fast on that end, and then slower and slower there until probably too slow, and it started to smoke a lot. I don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to see if I can make some sort of mark on there. Right. Oh, yeah. I can see that working. Oh, that's satisfying. That's satisfying there. Just put a line across on there, just to do that. I'll try and put a line down this way just to see. Well, considering I didn't think it'd get that hot, it is burning into this wood. There you go, 2 lines. Put another couple down. So there's a lot of heat in that nib, and it seems to be holding that heat quite well, whereas, you know, I'm pressing down into the wood and it's transferring a lot of heat, but it's still staying hot. It's like you do the next line and the next line, it's not losing anything in between lines, still staying hot. In fact, the handle's getting a little bit warm as well. So the handle's getting a little bit warm. So we just do some more lines across, just to make sure it works, and I've got the hang of it. I can see now, the faster you go, now it's warmed up, faster you go, look, these lines up here, they're a lot, coming up towards me, they're a lot thinner than the ones going the other way. So when you go sort of quickly, it's thin lines, slowly, fatter lines. Now, I think I've probably done about as much as I can with this nib. We'll try going across again. Yeah, that's a bit more controlled now. That's a bit more controlled. Right, so that's as much as I managed to do with that. I think this one, I'm not sure what it's for. It was the one that came in when it was on there. If you do this sort of stuff for a hobby or for a living, you'll understand exactly what it is and how it works. Now, I better turn this off. I can feel here is getting warm. So I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to leave it for a few minutes to cool down. I'm going to swap this nib out, and I'm going to put a more detailed one in, I think, a thinner one, and I'm going to have a go with a stencil that came with it. Okay then, now change that for a smaller nib, as you can probably see, right? That's quite tiny and detailed, and you can also see the difference in colour now. It's up to temperature. That one there is sort of brassy copper colour, and that one there has gone almost white. So even though there's no light on the actual tool itself, the nib does change colour when it's hot. Yeah, smoke straight away as soon as I touch it down. Now this one, I'm hoping, and I can see straight away, I can get some more detail with, because it's a bit easier to control, even for me. However, notice when I'm going across the grain of the wood, like this, it's getting a little bit more difficult. But I would presume if you were doing this for a living to make stuff or whatever you were doing, you would actually sand that down so it was all nice and flat first. Now, we'll turn this over. It's going to be backwards for you, but I'm going to give this a go. Now, I don't know how to hold this without gloves, because I'm presuming if I start rubbing this around it on here, it's going to get quite hot quite soon. Right. What should I do? I don't know, what do you always do? Write your name first. So I'll put a J in and see how we get on. Right. I'm getting a bit, hands getting a bit warm there. Right, that's a J in a fashion. So we'll do an I. Might have needed a slightly larger nib for this one. I think if I use a slightly larger nib, it would have filled the letters out a little bit better. J, I, and then we got an M. Move that over. You can see why I don't normally do this. My wife's a crafty one. She loves all this sort of stuff, and I'm pretty sure if I don't have a use for this, she'll find a use for it somewhere. She'll use it extensively, I should think. It's taken a little while to colour in the M. I think a larger nib would have been better. Although saying that, it just doesn't seem to have the heat in there that's required. But there you go. I think that's just about done it. And there you go. It says on there, Jim. Probably backwards to you, but it says Jim. It says it to me. So there you go. I'm happy with that. Could go all the way, underline it. Underlined, and I'll stick just to show you how poor I am at this sort of thing. I'll try and put a heart at the end, and I'll try and go around the heart without using the middle bit of the heart, right? I can't even colour in between the lines, let alone do these very well. So, do you know what? I don't want to speak too soon, but that seemed really easy with this small nib. A heart then after it. Look at that. I'm chuffed with that. That's the best one I've done so far. So there you go. Right. I don't know what else to try. Oh, we'll try some of the branding bits. There's some on there. I don't know if we can get some better wood. I don't know if it's on the end. If it do any better on there. No, it doesn't make any difference. Right. I'll unplug this again. I'll give it a few minutes to cool down, and then I'll put branding nib in, and we'll just give that a try, and then we'll see what we think at the end of that. Yeah, you caught me doodling. Now, it is a bit like a pen and paper. You can sit here and just do a few bits and pieces while you're waiting. I was just waiting for it to warm up, and I just thought I'd start. Now, I've got the branding iron on at the moment. It's like a little, I don't know, like Trivial Pursuit, I suppose, like the counter from there. But when you use it, look, I'll try and get you a clean one on this smooth bit. Oh, it didn't work very well. It's very hard to control this. There you go. It's like a little wheel. You can see. So I can see you make a little car up with that. That's the one there, the first attempt. It didn't work out too well. Try and do one next to it. Yeah, that one missed off a little bit as well. I don't know if this is operator error or what it is. I'm not too great with these things normally, so put it down to me not being good. Yeah, that one's a lot better. Look, that one's a lot better. You got to leave them on there. Now it says in the tool book, talks about soldering iron. I haven't got any solder here to test that out. I haven't got any leather either. It says that you can use it on leather as well. So there's a few things. I'm not quite sure what to use the hot knife for. If anybody does know, just pop that in the comment section below, because that would be interesting to find out what you use a hot knife for. Apart from my hot knife through butter, obviously. But maybe, I don't know, sort of shaping a bit of plastic or whatever, or these like sort of frayed bits on the end of the timber, maybe you just cut those off with it with a hot knife. I'm not 100% sure, but it would, you know, there's got to be a use for it out there, I'm sure. But I think for £10, if you're interested in doing this sort of stuff, for £10 it's probably worth a go. And then if you think you enjoy it, or the sort of limits to what you can do with it, then you can sort of invest in something a little bit better then on. Well, I'm getting the hang of this now, or it's warmed up enough for me to do it. But you can invest in something a little bit better, can't you? That's the thing with this stuff from Aldi. You know, £10 for this. I'm not sure how much it costs somewhere else, but £10 for this, and you can have a go. And if it's for you and you enjoy what you're doing and you use it, that's great. And if you get to the point where you think it's the tools that are actually holding you back, then you can invest in some better tools, more expensive tools from elsewhere. Well, I could sit here all day doodling with these little bits and pieces. I'll turn it off again now, and I'll show you how I change the nib. Now, you've got to be careful, because one, it's hot. You should really wait until it cools down, shouldn't you? A long time. We can pretend that 5 minutes has elapsed and it's nice and cool. I'm working on a metal table, so it's not so bad. But the temptation is, now I did this the first time as well, to unscrew this. So you unscrew that, that's great, that's what you do. But the easiest thing to do is move this round, because it's so easy. But you can't do it because you've got the wires here, and you'll twist the wires up. And if you twist the wires too far, then they're likely to untangle the other way and spin round, and you're going to burn yourself. Bear in mind, this here is very warm, right? We've got a little rubber grip on here. Oh, I just caught the metal shield there. We've got a little rubber grip on there. This is the rubber grip that fits over, right? And that is extremely warm. I've got quite tough hands. I do a lot of outdoor work, bit of mechanicking and stuff, so they're quite tough, and even feel really warm to me. Now, that is red hot out there. That's hot. Don't put it back into the plastic little container for them. Don't do that, because it's too hot. Right, I'm going to try another little branding one while I'm here. Some circles. The handy thing about this container is you can push them up from the bottom. Look, push your finger through and they pull out, so that's handy. Oh, I got the wrong one though. Too busy showing you what I was doing instead of doing what I was supposed to be doing. Right, in fact, we've had we'll put the circle one in. Now, this should be cold, this should be hot, so I should be able to put that in there and give it a little twist. And that's how easy they go in. Do not touch this bit, very hot. Once that's in, tighten it up, and that's that. Now, turn it back on, and we'll wait a few minutes for it to warm up, and we'll see how that one works. Right, I've had a little go with this one already, just while it was warming up, and put it on there, and it's like well, I thought like a dartboard at first, but it looks more like a wheel than I thought the last one was. And it makes the one that I thought was a wheel previously look like a dartboard, I suppose. But you tell me. There you go. We've got some little circles and stuff on there. So it's quite good. There's different designs in there, so you can have a play around. I'm not sure if these little nibs are compatible with other tools of the same thing. I know if you use the Aldi rotary tool in there, you can interchange those with the Dremel and other rotary tools. They're all sort of tooled the same. So if you could buy you decide to expand your range and buy a larger one of these or more powerful, then you might already have some tools to go with it as well. And what do I think, really? After a bit of a shaky start, you can see all the doodling and stuff that we've got on there. But after a bit of a shaky start, it's not so bad actually. It's all right, and I should think, like, you know, with a bit of practice, you get the hang of it. You'd actually do okay. You'd do okay, and you could be able to do a lot of things. You see how quickly it works now. It's like warmed up, you know, so much. It's just all about learning to use it properly and applying the right pressure. Not 100% sure what I'll actually use it for. However, we could make some nice little signs, couldn't we, for around the workshop or the children's rooms or something like that. So yeah, for £10, I think it's well worth a go. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, give me the thumbs up and subscribe if you can, please. I do a lot of Aldi tool reviews and anything else that's in the middle aisle, cool boxes, hammocks, anything that comes along. But I also do a lot of other tool reviews as well for various brands and companies and different things like drills and saws, etc., etc. All the way up to sort of lawnmowers and huge ride-on lawnmowers. We do reviews, maintenance, servicing, all that sort of thing. So if it's of interest to you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you'll see the videos when they come out. And if you hit the little bell as well, you get a notification every time I release a new one. If you know more about this than I do, which is, you know, probably not hard, is it really? Because I don't know a lot. Pop it in the comments below. If you've got something nice to say as well, you can pop that in there too. We'll put a link to the product and everything in the description, and a little bits and pieces about me as well, so you can find out all about who I am and what I do. And last of all, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm Jimmy the Mower. I'll catch you on the next one.